Hey everybody, it's Dawn Christine with DesignTalk, and I am here with Josh from Queenstown, New Zealand, and we are in their gorgeous development here. And this is such a gorgeous lot. The views are epic.
Yeah.
You really did a good job in your site selection. Tell us about how did you come across this property, and then what inspired you to do 4 units as opposed to 1?
It was all a bit of a mistake, really. I'd sort of come through it about a year before and written it off very quickly as being just too steep, too hard. We did a lot of toing and froing, and then eventually we just got sold by the view, and we paid the money.
So what was the tipping point that pushed you from, I don't want to develop this, it's too hard, to let's just do it?
Probably naivety. But I was crawling down through the bush, just trying to understand the contours and understand what it was. And what I discovered was that there was a very slight shelf at one side of the site that kind of led itself to sitting something
platform.
on it.
Yep.
And I could just see potential, and every so often I'd get a glimpse out through the trees and see the views. And I thought, this is just mind-blowing if we can do the right thing with it. And I'd always had this vision of doing a multi-unit development that was, in the main brief, was small spaces done really well. So it was a use of quite an efficient floor area, but putting the money into the finishes and the high joinery and really making the location and the outlook the centre of attention, almost that the living space is just there to support the kind of view and the outcome.
And you really accomplish what you set out to do, because it doesn't have a big footprint, but yet it does feel big and inviting and expansive.
And I think a big part of that is having accessible spaces and lots of glass. So having the deck out the front here with large window joinery looking onto it extends your interior floor area, really.
And then you've got the skylights, which also brings the natural light into the interior of the space, so it brightens it and it makes it feel much bigger than it is. I think this is a very successful project. Now, you could have done one big home. What was the inspiration for doing 4 units?
Well, I kind of wanted a project that was creative, that was creating something unique as an experience-based accommodation offerings. And most other developments are always stacked, one behind another, or one's compromising another. We've been able to have them all so that the wing walls give complete privacy, and everything's just got a full widescreen TV
Picture
view of the lake.
And you don't feel like anybody's to your left or your right. You feel like this is all yours.
Yeah, 100%.
But yet you have 4 units here.
4 units.
The other complexity with this is, where do the cars go? Okay, the units are down here, and you solve that very creatively. We pulled in off the street and we were like, whoa, look at this. So you introduce all your guests to, here you are, here's a slice of where you are. And then when you open the door, you're like, wow.
When we bought the site, I had an architect model the rough layout that we were going for, and it wasn't until we started digging into the topography more that we realised our driveway was 1 and 3, so it was kind of like trying to build drive a car down the side of Mount Cook. So we ended up having to revisit that, and then suddenly we ended up with 6-metre high retaining walls and 9-metre high steel structure to float the car decks out onto. So the driveway was quite a folly in some ways, probably a modest house park just there. But it's ended up being a really workable space, and it does function well.
So well done. Thank you for inviting us into your gorgeous development here and just sharing some of your insights on building, and just the real honesty of, hey, we thought we were making a mistake, but we were going for it, and once you committed to it, you really made it happen. So well done.
Thank you.